96.7 FM Strange Sounds. On the 7th of January 2018, Reddit user Batchian320 made a post on the Beaverton, Oregon subreddit describing a bizarre phenomenon. The post read, "Tune in to 96.7 if you are near Progress Ridge. Some weird shit is going on. Sitting in the car with friends, tune to 96.7 and I'm hearing weird repeating sounds and sometimes random people talking or saying random things. The sounds get more bassy and less bassy with some strange frequencies interrupting other ones. Someone please explain this." And while others initially dismissed it as nothing more than two dominant radio stations playing over each other, they quickly changed their minds after listening to the eerie broadcast themselves.
KZRYLP, Portland.
Around the same time, Redditor Jimmy Saltz made a very similar post in the Beaverton subreddit as well. This essentially ruled out the possibility that the issue was related to Batchian's car radio. And as time went on, more and more reports of these strange noises started coming up, all revolving around 96.7 FM. Now, if these strange noises were just that, most people would have dismissed them as a faulty broadcast system and moved on with their lives. However, the most haunting thing about these noises was that they kept changing. They would cycle between white noise, something resembling a very loud fan, and the most terrifying old speeches from Martin Luther King Jr., John F. Kennedy, and the Apollo 11 broadcasts.
We're approaching the 60-second mark on the Apollo 11 mission. T-minus 60 seconds and counting. We passed T-minus 60.
I also found reports of these strange noises going as far back as 2017. And one post made by a now-deleted Reddit account really stood out. It stated, "Did I record some kind of number station? Recorded this off of FM radio 1617 at about 6:30 p.m. The radio station is not officially listed." It went on in this pattern for several minutes before just playing some white noise type tone for hours and hours on end, no station call. The station is a defunct rock station I never heard of. The next day they played MLK speeches and something that maybe could be called ambient music, slow motion tones and whirring sounds. Nothing it's played is recognizable by Shazam. Any input is welcomed. The person who made this post also linked to a video they recorded, and sure enough, the noises matched the ones Batchian320 heard a year later. As far as I could tell, reports of these strange noises persisted until June 2018, only to disappear as suddenly as they emerged. This extended year-and-a-half-long timeline of these noises does negate the possibility of this being some troll hijacking the frequency. Because over such a long period, one of the people working for the 96.7 FM station must have noticed the hack and corrected the issue. So if these noises weren't caused by a malfunctioning broadcast or a hack, then what were they? The only people who could prove these answers were those who owned and operated the station. And after going through one of the recordings of these noises, we can hear a distorted call sign of KZRYLP.
KZRYLP.
Looking up this call sign in FCC's public notice from August of 2018 reveals that this station is licensed to the Community Alliance of Tenants, which is a non-profit aimed at helping tenants know their rights. However, this revelation introduced more questions than it answered. What does a non-profit focused on tenant advocacy have to do with eerie, unexplained noises on the radio? Reaching out to the Community Alliance of Tenants was met with an outright denial of having any knowledge of interference with their station. This leaves only one possibility on the table, that these noises were deliberately broadcast by the Community Alliance of Tenants. As for why they would do this, the answer is simple: for attention. Think of it this way: you're driving down the highway and you want to see what's on the radio. You shuffle through the radio stations to find something you like, when all of a sudden you hear a creepy noise. Wouldn't you be curious to check out the station at a later time to see what was going on? As the explanation goes, they were likely broadcasting these noises on off hours to build curiosity around their station, which otherwise covered boring talks about tenant rights. People were mentioning this possibility all the way back in 2018 when these noises first became popular. And while the Community Alliance of Tenants hasn't come forward with a confession, people on the internet are 100% convinced that they deliberately created this hoax for attention. However, 96.7 FM has since been replaced by a rap station.